Hey, let's talk about copyright. I started on this channel doing commentary on other notable YouTubers, eventually gaining the confidence to make my own content, critiquing media such as cartoons from my childhood. Unfortunately, when you do that, you're going to come into conflict with corporations that either don't understand copyright or don't care. Years ago when I did a review on an episode of Yokai Watch, it stayed up for what felt like a week until Toei took it down, despite me using none of the original audio, and me editing the episode so it was significantly shorter than the original episode. I disputed the claim and that seemed to be that, but the very next day, Toei seemed to decide, nah, lamau, and block the video again. When me and my friend Meltar tried to riff on the Ghost of Maiden's Peak, every PokeTuber's favorite studio, Showpro, decided to block that video not once, but twice, after I went back and made the riff as visually distinctive through editing 2 years later. This year when I tried to upload a review I did on an episode of the Raccoons, the Canadian Broadcasting Company took issue with me having one of their songs in the video, as well as audio that I deemed important for the moral as well as the development of a main character, and blocked it 3 times, resulting in me finally having to dispute the claim. It's amusing that not only has Disney allowed my reviews of DuckTales to stay up, what with their reputation of copyright claiming everything they see as infringement on their property, but Warner Brothers also allowed me to keep the video, and I used clips and audio from the original Tiny Toons adventures. True, Warner Brothers and Sunrise did initially block a riff I did on an episode of Super Friends and a review on Cowboy Bebop, but one little dispute that I don't make jack all on the videos on my channel was all that it took to get them back. I don't mind getting copyright claims since, again, I only make money off these videos, but what I do mind is feeling like I spent hours of recording and editing all for nothing when my videos get blocked. So, because I don't trust Toei, especially after what happened to Totally Not Mark, I've gone to the length of making today's review as visually transformative as possible. I sure did love layering multiple images to do that. Didn't feel frustrating or time consuming in the least bit. Okay, so now on to the actual review. Happy Halloween, viewers. Natai here with another review for all of you. So I am particularly happy with how Digimon has just gotten a wee bit darker in the past few years. We got Gabumon on a crucifix, and Metal Greymon becoming Machinedramon in the Adventure reboot. If you make the wrong choice in Digimon Survive, any of the characters can die in horribly fucked up ways. Yamero! And then there's the subject of today's video, Ghost Game. This series takes place in a future not so far away, where technology has advanced so far that holograms and AI have become a part of everyday life. Perhaps because how far technology has come, like in the Cybersleuth games, Digimon are starting to manifest in the real world. Sort of, when they first appear. They take on a semi-transparent ghost-like appearance, unseen by humans, but they can still affect things in the real world, and that causes humans to refer to them as hologram ghosts. Whether a Digimon is fully manifested or not, however, they can still cause a bit of a commotion for humans. Like in Tamers, the existence of Digimon is known to 3 kids who are our protags. It'd be easy to call Hiro Amanokawa a clone of Tai from the original series, but he's more like Henry Wong in that he doesn't rush into every situation. Plus, I doubt he's the type that thinks he can make a laptop work properly by smacking it. His partner Digimon is Gamamon, or is it Gamamon? I know this is going to be hard to believe, but since I kept calling Domon Daumon in the last video where I talk about Digimon, I am not exactly an expert in how these names are supposed to be pronounced. Anyways, the little Triceratops dude is the baby of the group, and has the distinction of evolving into 3 different champion forms. Rudy Sugiyuno is an influencer despite being just 13, and not really knowing what she wants to do when she gets older. A simplified description of her partner Angoramon would be Renamon, but a rabbit dude. Given his initial standoffish behavior, stoic personality, and especially the physical appearance and fighting style of his champion form. At first you would assume that Kiyoshiro, and I'm gonna try to pronounce his last name, would be the obnoxious rival to Hero, like Thomas was to Marcus in Data Squad. And while he can have a smarmy know-it-all way of talking, initially in the first episodes he appears in, he's also sort of a coward when it comes to the rumors about hologram ghosts. His partner is pretty much my favorite Digimon in this series, the snarky Jellymon, who has zero qualms about making fun of the boy she's paired with. I don't think that it's any coincidence that this series aired in October last year, and feel that it's totally appropriate that the Digimon that appeared in the second and fourth episodes were a Mummymon and a Pumpkinmon, the Pumpkinmon even appearing in a Halloween episode. Despite them being the antagonists of their episodes, they aren't intentionally causing harm to humans. They're just sort of ignorant that mummifying sick and injured people, or shoving pumpkins onto people's heads and carving jack-o'-lanterns will cause a lot more harm than good. But then you get Digimon that are intentionally malicious, like an Arukitymon that eats human brains to increase her own intelligence. And yes, the anime lets you know that at least one of the people she captures dies.
わからんどうなっとるんだ説明しろそんなこんなの僕が知るわけないじゃないですっ
I bet it tastes like scrambled eggs. I hate scrambled eggs. This series also has tons of body horror inflicted on humans, like becoming Gyukimon human hybrids, people being twisted into spirals like it's Uzumaki, and an Ajatamon doing this to people because he's in love with a boy with a fondness for plants. Yeah, when I say Digimon got darker at the turn of 2020, I meant it. But now it's time to get on to the episode that made me want to do this video. The Crimson Banquet. Rudy tells her friend she's been invited to a dessert tasting party being held by Scalato Vento, a company that creates everything from jewelry to handbags and sweets. Basically anything appealing to girls and women. And Goramon is concerned, however, when he hears that the company seems to have this obsession with the blood and the color crimson. The women who also got invited to such events are unusually pale afterwards. The reason I skipped a couple of scenes when starting this review is the episode itself isn't terribly subtle about the twist, and I'm sure you can see it coming a mile away. But trudge on we shall. Feeling that something might be up, I just can't imagine why, and Goramon asks Zero and Kiyoshiro to come with him in case Rudy's in danger. The night of the events and everything seems normal until one of the host's servants reveals himself.
メラグラーナでございます。久しぶりだな。
ドラクモなんで
あの時はよくもやってくれたな。
So one of the Digimon that was fought earlier in the series was a Dracumon that escaped, but now he's back and wants revenge against Rudy. Dracumon pushes his luck, however, and... yeah, now's the part where Rudy discovers that Scalo Vento is just a front for vampires to bite and feed on women. But these aren't just any old regular vampires. The host's butler is revealed to be a Matadormon, and the host himself is a Myotismon. And this is the reason everyone familiar with Digimon raved about this episode. Myotismon was the third main villain of Adventure, and is undeniably the villain who had the longest tenure in the series. He manages to come back in Adventure 2 via his data/soul, possessing a man obsessed with the digital world, but yeah, no one really talks favorably about that. Some Myotismon were also present in the finale for The Tamers Who Leapt Through Time, but those were just copies of the original powerful Myosmon, created by the big bad of that series and served no purpose other than to be fodder. Going back to the original Myosmon, he was a powerful vampiric Digimon who invaded the real world with his army of henchmen with the goal of killing a child. Granted, said child was the 8th Digidestined and could pose a serious danger to him, and then conquer Odaiba, Japan. Oh, in the world in general, I guess. Now, as much as I can agree that it's cool to see a Myosmon again, this one's motives are something I've already voiced displeasure with. He wants to convert as many humans as possible to build an empire because he believes vampires are superior to humans and deserve to rule the world. Yeah, just one problem with that. You're vampires and feed on human blood. If you convert everyone into vampires, there will be no one left to feed on. Seriously, why is there so much vampire media out there that's all about replacing humans as the dominant species? The only piece of media I found where vampires actually have a bit of sense and do not convert every single human on Earth is Daybreakers, where the vampires treat humans as cattle so they can feed on them. Bottom line, I think replacing humans with vampires is dumb. I thought it when Super Friends did it, I thought it when Buzz Lightyear did it, and yeah, I know that was done with robots, but it's the same idea. I thought it was done when the Batman vs. Dracula did it, and I think it's dumb here. So the reason really is here is because one of Myosmon's subordinates, saying Lookmon, had been spying on her and saw that not only did she have a Digimon partner, but also noticed the two boys, which sparked Myosmon's interest. Because reasons. Yeah, I don't get it either, but I guess they had to come to conflict with him somehow. Myosmon says he wants them to join his empire, even though there really isn't anything about these kids that would suggest they'd make a good addition to his empire. Is that they have Digimon partners the lone factor here? I feel if this series ever gets dubbed, the move will be that Myosmon would rather have these kids under his control rather than be a potential threat in the future. Ruli manages to escape to the elevator and make it to the roof, only to discover that Angoromon has been beaten by Sanglupmon, but that the building's roof is an arena? Oh, and the boys are here too. Apparently, Myosmon wants to see how strong the kids' Digimon are, but since no one at this point in the anime has reached the ultimate level, Tesla Jellymon and Beta Gamamon get easily slapped around. To make matters worse, Myosmon has one of his bats bite Beta Gamamon, and this is a curse that causes Hero to feel whatever damage Beta Gamamon takes in battle. Being pushed to such an edge, Beta Gamamon almost shifts over to Gulis Gamamon. Gulis again. I don't know how to pronounce this name. The Dark Champion for Gamamon, who is essentially a merciless killer. But during mid-transformation, Hero manages to break through the Beta Gamamon, and we get our first ultimate of the series, Cannon Weissmon. Cannon Weissmon just dive bombs Myosmon, who can just barely hold off his opponent with his bare hands, before he bursts into bats, retreating, which conveniently restores the humanity of all the women that were bitten, and the episode ends. The main thing I love about this episode is that all the antagonists come from the same evolutionary family. Kinda. Trying to make sense of Digimon evolution chains is truly an exercise in madness. But Dracomon can evolve into Sanglupmon, who can evolve further into Mattermon or Myosmon, so that's pretty cool. I like the Dracomon's inclusion here. Not for any narrative reason, but because his naming scheme and design are kind of symbolic. He's a small blue demon with vampiric traits, and named after Vlad Dracul, and Dracul can be translated as Son of the Dragon / Devil. Also, his Japanese VA, Koki Miyata, voiced Demi Devimon in the Japanese dub for Adventure. So that's 2 Miyata characters who've been killed by a Myosmon. While Sanglupmon does serve a narrative function, I don't know how to feel about him. I think it's just a design. Don't get me wrong, Wolf with bat wings is kind of cool, but those giant blades on his front paws just feel sort of like overkill to me. I am so glad they didn't do to this Myosmon what they did with the one in the original series. And by that, I mean they didn't make it out like he was invincible. Again, yeah, he slaps around the Digimon like it's nothing, but that's because he's on a higher level than them. When we get Cannon Weissmon though, he has to struggle to keep his opponent back. I also love how the animation is just seamless for when he's struggling to hold off Cannon Weissmon before he bursts into a cloud of bats. And that leads me to my final point. I am so glad that the animation of this series has evolved beyond just using recycled animation whenever a Digimon uses their attack. Now, maybe there's some repeated attack animation I haven't noticed, and really I'm just going off this episode. Whenever Myosmon uses his night raid attack, bats just sort of swarm around him. It's never the exact same pose. He can just be standing there and bats will swarm from him towards the target. Overall, I've just really been enjoying Ghost games since I learned about the series, and I look forward to seeing what Digimon pops up next. I am sort of worried about this getting a dub, because it might try to tone down all the horror elements, but then Tamers was allowed to keep its darker moments halfway through the series when it was dubbed, so who knows? This is not Idai saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts, share yours with me, and have a happy Halloween.